What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind. Yo, this episode was hype. I'm pretty sure this is the final time we're going to probably see Koichi and Jotaro and any former JoJo character we get the end where I mentioned before. You know, one more character that's going to make an appearance around the end of the pod. So get hyped for that, guys. So yeah. I'm definitely hyped to see that other character, but I'm pretty sure this is the last time we're going to see Koichi and Jotaro, which I don't know if I mentioned before, but I want a figure of Jotaro in his Part 5 outfit, because my god, that looks fucking sick. Like, I love his Part 5 outfit, man. Yeah, like, this episode almost kind of felt like it was Koichi kind of passing the torch, almost, to Giorno, you know? Since he was a hero of Morio, and now we're going over to Giorno fully, I wouldn't be surprised if this was kind of like a pass of the torch kind of moment from between Giorno and Koichi. But, you know, hey, this last time we can see Koichi, man, yeah, I'm going to be sad because I love Koichi, but hey, man, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the rest of the cast of Part 5, which looks like we're going to see them next week, which that should be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see the rest of the cast. I wonder if the kicking meme is next week. If it is, I already got a meme planned out for you guys on that I'll post on Twitter. But we'll get there when we get it. So anyway, without further ado, let's just jump right in. So he starts it off. Yeah, of course, right where we left off with Giorno and the old man. The old man dies. Of course, got hit with the stand arrow. Goes over to Giorno and be like, "You too have reignited the flame. Before you lies two paths." Charges at Giorno. Giorno manages to dodge it. And then the dude, the stand, grabs, I think it was like a shadow, and pulls it out, revealing Golden Wind. He's always like, you rise before you two paths, and spits out the stand arrow, and is about to try and hit Giorno with it. Golden Wind grabs at it with his hand. The dude's hand is bleeding like crazy, trying to pull it back. He eventually, which he eventually kind of does, and hits him with a flurry of mudas. They don't have that same kind of punch as when Dio did. Doesn't have that same, umph to it that Patrick did when he was doing. But of course, this is Dio's kid. So anyway, after he's trying to get the stand out there, hits him with those mudas. He ends up finally pushing him. He has a whole slow motion attack thing going on. He goes and he starts falling down the stairs. He also hits a bucket, and we see him kind of like. I like the effect they kind of did here. It made it look like he got absorbed within the water, which he didn't, because we learned about its ability or how exactly his stand works. So from there, he actually manages through the shells, managed to grab at Golden Wind's leg again. Managed to grab I think it was like his leg of Golden Wind, and throws him off the little stairs he's on. Lands back first. Golden Wind comes back into him, and from here we actually start to get, and Giorno puts his hand in the shadow, which then out comes the stand, but he can't reach him because he's in the light. We find out how the stand works, that he can only work within the shadows. And from here we actually get a full camera body shot of him in full color, not like those color effects that JoJo's does all the time. And I gotta say, this is one creepy ass stand. I'm looking at it right now. And man, this stand is real cool. It's super tall. His legs are kind of monstrous, and of course you got that face. I love it. I love the design of this stand. Araki did an amazing job with it. So from there, Giorno starts to figures out that might be the shadows that do it. So he lightly taps another shadow near him. Bam! Out comes the stand, but it doesn't touch him because he's outside the shadows. So that's when we realize, okay, so the stand works by shadows. And then our boy Koichi comes in. And he starts asking Giorno a bunch of questions, like, "Hey man, what the hell's going on here? What'd you do with the old man? Did you kill him? Why is the old man?" He starts interrogating him. Giorno's like, "Man, I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I swear." And so from there, he tells Koichi to get out of the shadows. That's to get away from the shadows, because the stand. I don't think we ever got its name actually. I don't think we ever got an official name from the stand. I'm sure in one of the data books it's announced, but not in the show itself. I don't think we actually got its name, but whatever. So he comes up the shadows and goes over to Koichi, grabs Reverb. He's like, "The eye before you are two paths," and the arrow comes out. Golden experience Golden Wind. I don't know what the fuck to call it. Stand, but whatever. Golden Wind comes in there, grabs the arrow. Once again, his hand is bleeding like crazy. He's like, "Ah, damn, this hurts like a motherfucker." So he tries to block again. Oh, this time he turns the railings on the stairs right here into like some flowers to expose to the sunlight. The guy starts to play. It's like yeah, screaming and everything, hold on yachts. But then he puts his hand down on like a nearby shadow and he's good. So Koichi comes down there and he's like, that had to have been the arrow. That had to have been from the bow and arrow, of course, the sand arrow. Now, I know actually. Now I'm curious. No, I don't think that arrow is actually the traditional sand arrow that we know from Part 4 or in Part 3. I think this is a different type of arrow. I say that because I actually kind of know because I've been watching. Because a while back ago, I was watching a lot of JoJo YouTube channels for a bit, and so I knew a little bit. So I knew like bits and pieces of what Part 5 was going to be about, and I knew that there was a different type of arrow that was going to be in there called. No, I'm not even going to say that because I don't want to spoil you anime onlys, or dub onlys I should say, because it's already aired in the anime, but for us dub onlys. Yeah, I'm not going to say, say anything more about that. Anyway, so I don't think this is just the typical standard, it's a new one. Anyway, so he tries to ask, so he asks Koichi, he starts asking, Giorno what the hell is happening, what happened, why'd you do this, and he tells him that, that was his own careless actions that got him in this mess. The old man just got in the way, got mixed up in it. I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, I don't regret my actions, but that still doesn't make it hurt any less. I have a dream raging in my heart, and I won't let it die. Something along those lines. And Koichi's just kind of looking at him shocked. Remember that's going to come back into play later on around the end of the episode. So, from there, they start to think about what the hell the next plan of attack is for getting rid of the stand. And I love this shot here where we're talking to Koichi, and he looks to the side, and the stand's just sitting there, or standing there. I really love that shot. Kind of like, there's a bit of a horror element with this episode, I noticed. So then they're trying to think of a new plan. They eventually think to realize to get them on like the opposite side on the school, so that that's where the sun is, and they're good. They can get it. They can get them. And get them and kill them from there. Koichi also mentioned that we should look for the stand user, but of course Popo is stuck in prison, so we cancel that option. So that option, isn't going to work. So what he ends up doing is then they run off, and then we see these crows. I love the shots here. The shots here are great. Like, they see these two crows, and we see the stand. Then we kind of see like the stand kind of like fuse into the crow almost, like kind of dissolved into the crow, like a little bit of a transition there. Looked really cool. So then Giorno's walking past, like I guess like the top part for the entrance to the school. Then the dude then the stand grabs Giorno by his leg, and so Golden Wind comes out there and hits him with flare kicks. Obviously misses, not letting up on his grip. Koichi hits him with reverb. Act 3, freeze! So he hits him with 3 freeze, but the dude isn't letting go of his grip. So he then decides oh shit, he's gonna break your leg. And he tries to release 3 freeze. But Giorno tells him not to do it. So instead he has another play. Then we hear a crack. Now I thought the dude's leg, like the sand legit broke his leg there, but no, we look at the bag, but we look behind them, a tree branch cut off, and then we see the tree kind of like grow up in size a bit before it starts to wither away. We know Giorno can pretty much turn any organ, it can, create any organism out of can make an organism out of anything. He can change its shape and all that other stuff. But he can also like accelerate the life cycle of different things, like what he did with his tree. He accelerated the life cycle so that it would wither away just like that, quickly. And then from there would unleash the sunlight. Koichi asked him how did you do it? Because he mentions that the tree is about 10 meters away, which don't know how much that is in feet, but whatever. And then he noticed all these holes in the ground, so he probably just got him from the root down there. So the tree is relinquished, and then the light hits its stand, and he's like, ah, yeah, does a whole screaming, and then he tries to go for the hole that's right there, but Golden Wind comes in there and just covers it up. He's like, no, and his facial expression here was fucking fantastic. I might save that image for a meme, just for a possible meme. So then he tells Koichi, hey man, you mind moving to the right? He's like, oh yeah, sure. So then he kind of like gauges distance or whatever, and then you got, of course, the theme playing, the dun 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 dun, or whatever. Now I don't think this was actually Giorno's theme because I didn't hear the bum dun 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 bum 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 bum. Like I didn't hear any of the piano. So unless they used a different part of his theme, or they didn't. So they either did use his theme right here, or they didn't use the piano part, because that's the one part I know of it is bum dun. Dun 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 bum bum dun 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 bum bum. You know. Anyway, so you got the bam bam bam. Now it's with like a fucking saxophone, like bam bam bam. You know, it sounded great. I love that. I love the music JoJo. I always love these scenes where he's like, now. Only one path lies before you. Of course, the classic flurry of punches sending the villain flying. Always love these in JoJo. They're always so amazing. 5 parts in a Rocky still, and they never get old, man. 5 parts in and they never get old. Well, technically 3 if you want to count the parts with stands, or no, yeah, 3. No, 2. No, it's 3. Yeah, part 3, part 4, and part 5. Yeah, 3 parts. Don't know what my brain be fucking with me. Anyway, so he sends the stand flying, and then the stand finally dissolve into nothingness, and they're like, whoa, we made it. Giorno grabs the lighter back up, and he's wondering if this is gonna be enough to get him into the Familia. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow. Time skip till tomorrow. Giorno is back in prison. Oh, one last thing before we head back to with Popo. Koichi ends up talking. Koichi runs to the nearest phone to tell Jotaro about the stand arrow being back. That's in Italy because he gets back. Giorno comes in there, pushes down that button thing that pretty much hangs up the phone for those old payphones for you people that actually know what the hell these are. For you young whippersnappers and your fucking smartphones. I remember these phones back in the day. Anyway, so he tells Giorno to now make the call. I tell him that this isn't just this isn't a one-man operation. This is a whole organization, and to pretty much just don't do it. Just keep this between us. So anyway, Koichi ends up taking them. So Koichi ends up not telling Jotaro what happened. We then have her back to the prison. Gives Popo back the weapon. Gets Popo back the light. He's like, oh, I can't seem to recall where we left off. What the fuck was your name again? It was Giorno. What the fuck was it? It's Giorno Giovanna. He obviously didn't say all that, but y'all know me. He's like, tells him his name is Giorno Giovanna. And he tells him, that, so it's like, if I'm so bold, are you a man of God? He says, I'm not devout, if that's what you mean, which I don't even know what the hell that means, but whatever. He says, like, well, I want you to take this to heart. That's a good thing, because what I'm about to say to you goes against the word of God. But I want you to keep on chant to heart. If the trust between of a fellow man is paramount, then the act of distrust must also be viewed as a crime, or something like that. I don't remember exactly everything he said, but he pretty much said that that disrespecting someone. Nah, man, you ended up on some fucking hit list. That shit. He says, do not let greed or arrogance get cloud your judgment. I don't care if you lose a chair at the theater or on the bus stop. You do not put yourself in danger. Competition is a barbarian sport. It's a pastime for fools. And he tells him that pretty much that murder is good in the eyes of God when it's because of someone getting disrespected. And he tells him to, remember that, take that to heart. So then he tries to offer Giorno, or then he throws him a pin, or a badge, whatever it is, that saying you are now part of the Familia. And Giorno takes it, and then the dude actually offers him some wine, and he's like, because Giorno just walks off. But before that, when he went to go grab the pin, he extends his hand out there, and we see Golden Wind kind of leave his hand for a bit before we hear the something get transformed before he leaves, get pats down and everything else. Hands it back to Bruno, and they walk off. He's also like, well, all right, man. So they walk off, and then we go back to Popo. He sees his fridge door. He's like, what the hell? I could have sworn I closed that door. Ugh. Looks inside of it. Ugh. Must be all the blood rushing to my stomach again. So then we get back to Giorno. He's walking. And then we head over back to Popo. And he says, so, Murder is okay if it's because of disrespect. Well then, you certainly did teach me a valuable lesson, because you disrespected the life of that old man when you killed him. And so the man goes out there and grabs out a banana, and then once he pulls out like the last peel of it, and you hear it, the click of like you pulling down the I don't know what the hell that thing is called, the hammer or whatever of like a revolver, and then he puts it in his mouth, and then we hear like. And then the gun transforms back into a fucking revolver, and he blows his brains out. It was crazy. I mean, there was no brain man or anything, but it was just blood. But then Jordan says they took the liver, taking one of his guns and turning it into his favorite snack. So Popo is now dead, which kind of saddened by that, because I really dug Popo's dialogue and his quotes to be like, Fuller said that he who is my friend will speak kindly of me behind my back, or it's a pastime for fools. I like Popo's dialogue, man. Kind of a little bit like, although we won't hear any more of his wisdom, but he's an asshole. Fuck. And that's pretty much where the episode ends, along with Bruno telling Giorno that he's going to meet his team, which is, of course, the team that we're going to be following throughout Part 4, or Part 5. One last thing, we also see Giorno, or Koichi, call up Jotaro, telling him about that Giorno's okay, that he's a cool guy, because he could feel in his bones that he does indeed have, like, the heart of a Joestar. And he tells him, why don't we tell this in person? He's like, and Jotaro's like, okay. And you can always wait to be like, alright, time for some long overdue sightseeing, which, hey man, have fun in Italy. So yeah, that is where the episode ends, and holy fuck, this review is probably one of the shortest I've done in a while, except for JoJo. I've never done a JoJo review that has not been under 20 minutes. That's weird, man, that's weird. But anyway, this episode was amazing. I'm definitely hyped to see what else we have in store for us for the rest of Part 4, or Part 5, excuse me, Part 5. Especially going to see the rest of the crew. I wonder if the Kigami is going to be next week or not, but whatever the case may be, I'm hyped to see the rest of Golden Wind. So yeah, overall, I give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Familia, links in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.